Hi everyone, welcome to another episode on Tea Talk with Goodness Usman, your number one real estate talk show in Africa. Thanks to each and every one of you who keep watching each time we upload. Honestly, you guys are the real MVP. I also allow me to say to you, Merry Christmas. I know some of you in other parts of the world, you're already celebrating your Christmas, and some of us in this part of the world will just count down to a few hours to Christmas. So I already see a lot of you are in the mood of the holiday celebration and merry. Please ensure that whilst you're marrying this holiday season, you are safe. Now, as I promised to you guys that as we are back on the show, we're not going to miss out any days whatsoever. We're going to be more consistent. Hence why we're still live. We're still bringing live to you on Christmas edition. So basically, this is our Christmas edition. So last week in the previous episode, which is a new season and the first episode, that this is the second episode, we started with the event, the real estate event of the year that was held in a hotel by the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Board. And we started with the first panel section. And the topic was disaster mitigation strategies. Now, they discussed the best practice for mitigating disasters in the real estate industry. If you missed out on the first episode, I will advise that you click the link below in the description button and go watch that so that you will follow up and don't miss out on that. Especially if you're a key holder, stakeholder in this industry, whether you're a real estate developer, you're a realtor, you're a real estate investor, especially a real estate investor. All right, so today I'll be showing you guys the second panel session, which was aired on the first day of the event. Now, this is the topic, and then we'll go ahead and watch the video. So the topic is the role of public-private partnership in enhancing disaster mitigation and resilience in the industry. So you're going to see the panelists, you're going to hear them talk and all of that. Now, before we go right into it, let's quickly perform our rituals. Yes. We're going straight into the ritual. For those of you who are used to this talk show, you already know, right, that we usually perform this ritual, which is where you get to relax, grab yourself a glass of water, a glass of wine. Come on, it should be a glass of wine because it's the holiday. Whatever drink suits you, juice, or a cup of green tea like mine, or regular tea, or coffee, whichever one just suits you. The whole essence of this is that you are relaxed when you are listening to this talk show, and then you are calm to learn and unlearn. All right, so let's go right away into it because this panel session is definitely long. And hey, I want to advise you to listen to this to the very end. This is not one of the videos you should be skipping at all. Anyways, let's go ahead. Ooh, one more. I know, right? A lot of you always guess that she's going to sip 3 times. Anyways, let's go right into the show proper. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go right into the panel section. Please, you need to pay attention to this. Now, like I said earlier, the topic is the role of public-private partnership. And remember that the theme of the event was rather real estate regulation, a panacea for disaster mitigation and recovery in a built up industry. So we have a panel right there, and then please go ahead, pay attention, and enjoy the panel. I'll see you at the end of the video.
Around public-private partnerships and how this will help in really averting disasters. I mean, we've talked about several areas of disasters this morning. It's not just building collapse. You have financial disasters. You have people being displaced when it comes to disasters, whether it's natural, whether it's man-made, whether it's financial, and all of that. And I'm very happy that I have a very rich panel. And this was very deliberate to bring people who are working in government, private sector, and even Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, which I think that this really falls on their court. So I'll start with Dr. Hamid, right? So we're looking at how can we begin to what's happening. And I want to look at this from the perspective of how the private sector should be working with government. Thank you.
Thanks so much for bringing on board. This particular person is very dense. We have a lot to do. There are a lot of lapses, and it's from the government, or start from the government. After issuing a certificate of occupancy or approval, that's what will be the end of the attack. There is supposed to be an accountability department to checkmate what we are doing as a private sector. Apparently, my chairman said something here that greediness is one of the problems we are facing in the country. And whenever we have such things in the environment, it is very, very hard for us to get a lot of things right. So how do we reduce this? Because disaster is one of the things that is common right now. A lot of people are down due to recent demolition in the water assets. Now, every developer should pass through government. After they issue the necessary certificates, are we going back to check with them? As a developer, a lot of people are giving approval to build 8 floors, and they end up building 10 floors. After they are calculating everything that, the one that gave me money is charging me 30%. How much am I going to make? So, probably we are going to come in a way that the money we are charging the developer is in order for us not to go extra mile beyond the level given to us in order to develop. That's number one. 2, the second thing I think government should do is setting up an accountability partner between Radar Association and the government. This will enforce them. We can use as well. They can enforce them in order to caution whoever that is going against rules and regulations that govern all this building. Like I said, we have local government. Their units will be in local government in order to monitor some environment. If Lateral is in Alausa, they might find it difficult to cover the entire environment. But they can have a unit in every local government SCA. And that one will be very close to whoever that is building and give monthly report of what is going on. By limiting them in Alausa, they might not really be effective. And at the same time, that says something here on APSCA too. When they are checking in the private sector, they should be checking them because they don't give approval to build. Are they actually giving the necessary approval to the right building to be erected before we get to financial disaster? So I think the enforcement should come in. They should enforce the LASERA in order to expand their strength down to the local government level, to have more people on board to check what we are doing as industry. And also, if there is a way we can reduce some charges when it comes to the building, getting approval, necessary paper, and at the same time, before you can become a developer in Lagos State, such person is supposed to have a certificate from LASERA. You can't just make money in Alaba or Oshodi and just come to Ghana and become a developer. You can't do this thing outside the country. It's only in Lagos State. We have more than 1 million developers and also even know what is the size of the block. Because he make money somewhere, they just decide to join development. That shouldn't even be allowed. Lagos State can partner with Lagos Business School, run business school. If you want to become a developer in Lagos State, go through these courses for 3 months. Bring your certificate. It's one of the criteria. Lagos State will issue another certificate. Before you can commence your business. You can see.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamid. Let's go round and then we'll come back again for you to hammer home your point. I'm going to quickly move to Dr. Afolabi. Just following the conversation that Dr. Hamid has talked about, how you think that we can, I'm talking more around executing and ensuring that we mitigate this.
Thank you very much. Dr. Hamid, you said it all. And I want to thank the first panel that spoke. Honorable Shino is part of us and spoke very well on behalf of our whole constituency. I'm happy to be here this afternoon. Why? Because I was part of the Red Door business. The Red Door, if they are here, the Red Doors that build houses in Lagos State, if you say you have not met me and you don't know me, that means you have not crossed the T's and dot the I's. I happen to be the former general manager, Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. And if you say you have not met me, that means you have not done the needful hard initial to what you should have done as rector. And I'm telling you,
rector, okay, as developer.
Very simple. If you get a land, what are you supposed to do? Somebody said it. You search. Is the land authentic? Is it meant for the purpose which you want to use it for? Go to Ministry of Land Services. They will tell you we have a master plan. But where you go and purchase a land and your desire to build, that land is not meant for such. But a day will come when government will open their books and they will ask you, who gave you permission to go and build there? You've taken a very wrong step. Secondly, before commencing on building, for crying out loud, you must do soil test. How many of us has gone that way to do soil test? The soil test will tell you which type of floors that your building can go. Material testing laboratory, as I talk to you, has one of the best equipment in Lagos State. If you go to them, they will satisfy your land. They will bring their equipment, take various soil samples at various levels, automated, and they will tell you which type of floor you can go. But many of us don't go this route.
Major Realty 240.
Thirdly, before you put a block on your site, your sand, your cement, your steel, all those materials that are needed for construction, you must go and test them. Go and test your steel. Go and test their strength. Material testing has a very big, robust steel testing equipment in Lagos State, and if not in Nigeria, I stand to be corrected. And I think somebody is looking at me as I talk. When you join the realtors, you know what he did? Eczema. He came to me. He said, Dr. Afolabi, my very useful friend. He said, I don't want to go the way others are going. Please, you advise me on what to do. I said, don't worry. He invited me, I paid a visit to his site, and I asked him to come to my place, and I showed him now. When he saw our steel machine department, he bowed, and he said his company is going to help us to reconsult that site we are using. But on which he came and he did, and that is a eczema group of company, Mr. Akim Oguniro. And we go to his site, we do everything. You see, if you follow all these things.
I did to Joseph. It's interesting that LSTPC has been in this business for decades, right? I think you have been able to avoid some significant levels of disasters. I don't know what the financial disaster may be, but in terms of how you have helped or how the agency is averting disasters, mitigating it, and ensuring that there's continuous development for real estate.
Well, thank you very much. LSDPC is not just about money. We are about providing housing to the people. And when you talk about PPP, it's about the public and private. The private for profit, as the government side to provide. And we try not to compromise. There is a particular project that we're doing somewhere in Nigeria. The contractors are saying they want to go as high as a particular level. And we are telling them, no, we're not going to do it if you don't go higher. That is another type of disaster. Because if they go ahead, and after some years now, they have a lot of flood, and they will need to, instead of the value of the land, of the property, increasing, people will keep living. So we said no. So those are ways in which you can avert disasters. PPP is partnership. The private sector should not look at us as competitors or like we don't like them. Maybe when they feel we stress them over approvals. No, like Mr. Lusodo said, we want to ensure everything is in order before we allow them to go to site. Have you ever heard of the collapse of any building from the government agency? You had it. So why is it? Why is it that way? So our private sector people too should hold down. It shouldn't just be about profit that you want to make, but make sure you do something that people will never forget. Those that built those houses that collapsed, I doubt anybody wants to buy houses from them. So let's take our time, and be patient. Even in America, in UK, that we talk about, it's not the same thing that you put in your approval, that you put in your application that you get an approval. So please, let's move on. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Andy. So I'll move over to Barrister Akintoye Adeoye, who also is the incoming president for Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. So follow on the conversation, Barrister Adeoye, how can your organization, talking about the entire development or the developers in the country, how can you begin to partner such that we can reduce this level of disasters?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I would like to start from the area of legal regulatory framework. And I want to commend Lagos State for having a very robust legal and regulatory framework. But I would like to say that we all know that ignorance of the law is not an excuse for anyone. Be that as it may, the robustness of the legal framework established by the state governments under the custody of different departments that have been set up to handle such portfolios. I think that in the area of communication and engagement, rather than have to engage more with governments. I want to give you an example. One of our members, he has CFO, he has layout approval, he has building approval for his projects, and recently, about I think close to 60 or 70 buildings marked for demolition in his estate.
Wow, how?
And his offense is having obtained building approval, governor consent, layout approval, he did not get drainage clearance. And the question is this: if I obtain my building approval, yard approval, and I say that I've not obtained drainage clearance,
You want to demolish because of that?
I thought it could be assumed that before the issuance of building approval, yard approval, at one point in the chain, this document would have gone within the government system itself for drainage clearance, instead of the developer spending money on obtaining building approval, yard approval, doing governor's consent, and at the end of the day, is being penalized for not obtaining the drainage clearance. So, in moving forward, we need to improve on engagements with the developers. We all know too that we have some sharp practices in the industry, and we cannot shy away from collaboration. And some of our members are also stubborn, because even when you mark their building and you say stop work, they are not stopping construction. So when you now look at everything together, I think that who suffers some of this mishap? The consumers.
Yes, investors.
And if the developer probably his brand will be affected, but what about the off-takers, the consumers? How are we protecting them? What are we doing to ameliorate their risk? And I think that would be another subject for discussion. But for PPP, as it were, I think that is the way to go. And collaboration have to continue to go on. I read 2 days ago, Ezina Proteins and NSCPC signing a robust agreement on development. This is the way to go. Because the money I'm going to use to buy that land, I may use it for development. If government is going to partner with me, we have to do it right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Very, very instructive. I'll move quickly to Rotimi. So in terms of all of the...
Everybody wants to become a developer because they've heard that there's money in it. But I think it's important that we have a checklist. You want to develop before you go back to school to go and read. But there should be other ways of educating people on what and what not to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Incoming President, your parting shots.
Okay, thank you. Advocacy, particularly in the area of proper risk allocation. Risk have to be properly allocated. And I think right now we'll be pushing for insurance, project insurance. I feel so much for people buying properties. And at the end of the day, disaster happens and nobody had their back. So I think we need to address that. And it's not about just the developer, it's not just about the government, but about our customers. And we need to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go to the parting shots.
Thank you. I think the wars that we fight during the present and the future are more of food, home, fuel, and planning is very, very much required. So I want to take an example with Uber, a transport company. Most drivers who drive Uber are controlled from just an app, and from there everything happens. So I want to say if Lastrera can come up with an Uber strategy to control and regulate real estate developers, And I mean, you need to rate developers, you need to delist developers, you need to publicly shame developers, you need to take some persons to prison who deserve it, so that the market is sanitized and we have more safety. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Afolabi.
Thank you very much. Incoming President, you have a job on your hands.
Yes.
And you have seen everybody. And all that is being said today is pointing at you. First, Nasrallah, you need to remove shaft from the grace. And that is exactly what you just said. There should be a very big synergy, collaboration between you and the government. And I'm happy also is here. LAPCA, if they are not here, they will be here tomorrow. LASPA will be here tomorrow. Material testing will be here tomorrow. So one thing you guys didn't know is the water you use in mixing your building materials is very important too. If it is alkaline, if it is acidic, you must know. But how many of you go and test water used on site? The water you use on site and the cement you use, you must corroborate the two of them. The steel, if you use acidic water to mix engineer, you know what I'm talking about, there will be corrosiveness, and the steel, when it is corroded, the time limit, it will not last, it will collapse. So please, we need to do this. Enforcement should not be done by the government. Yes, Nasera, please go to the agencies, the MDAs that are responsible for enforcement. Together, do it so that the people will not say the government are running after them. When they see you with the government and you run after them, they will begin to complain about them. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you will all agree with me that this has been a very robust session with very practical insights. I think one of the things I want to add that really hasn't been said is the fact that a peer-to-peer review, if you like, call it whistleblowing. I think with the kind of things that are happening in this market right now, I think whistleblowing is not a bad idea, just so that we can help the sector. So the panelists have talked about planning, they talked about advocacy, they talked about education and training, they talked about enforcement, we discussed monitoring, engagement, risk sharing, insurance, even shaming developers, which I think it was really a highlight for the conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, can you put a round of applause for my panelists? I think it is well deserving and done a good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you had one or two things that you were able to take away from that panel section. Now, what do you think about what you heard from those panelists? You can see that some of them are real estate developers. Some of you know some of them. Some of you don't know some of them. Boy, you have heard all they have said, the suggestions to government, etc., etc. Now, this is what I want you to do for me. Whether you're a realtor, you're an intending developer, you're a real estate investor, whether you've been in the industry for a while or you've been investing for a while or not, please put it in the comment section. I know you're in the spirit of holiday, but even though we're in the holiday, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't learn, right? Okay, so tell me, what do you think about the suggestions that this guy has made for the government, the conversation? What do you think? What are you taking away from the conversation? Or do you have something completely different from their angle at which they've addressed the topic so far? Maybe you have something else, you have a suggestion. Like I usually say, this is a talk show. You never can tell who is watching. You never can tell who will pick up these stuff and, put it into the ears of the government officials themselves. So your suggestions are welcome. I want to appreciate those of you who called me. I know a lot of people here who watch, but they don't usually like to comment, but they'll always reach out to me. We'll have these conversations one-on-one again, like an extension of the show, right? Basically. Anyways, thank you for everyone who does that. I really appreciate you guys. And I had great insight. We had beautiful conversations on the previous episode. So please, I'm looking forward to same, even though we're in the holiday season. Let me use this medium to also say to you, we in Nigeria Radio 24/7, again, we don't close for the year. Yes, we do not close for the year because we understand that many Nigerians and diasporans are around this period and they want to use it as a perfect opportunity to see some properties on our listing that they've seen. So please, if you're watching me, you're in Nigeria, you're thinking, oh, maybe she's closed for the holiday. We don't close at all. We only observe the holiday, which is tomorrow, 25th. And of course, we're back into the office. And of course, on the 1st of the January, definitely. But no closure. No closure. We're conducting inspections back to back. So we are here to serve you and yours this holiday season, and of course beyond. Honestly, I want to also use this medium to appreciate all of our clients. We have some quite loyal clients here who keep coming back to patronize us each time they see a thing they love, one property or the other. They come and say, oh goodness, what's up with this one, da 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 da. And they buy from us. They even go ahead and give us referrals. In fact, we have some people here who have not had the opportunity to purchase from us, but they've been referring us. Thank you so much all through the years. I mean, not just I'm not saying thank you for 2023 only, to the new ones on this channel this year. Thank you so much. I and my team will appreciate you all. And we're saying to you, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that you remain safe and awesome just the way you are all through this Christmas holiday season and beyond. Don't forget that my name remains Goodness Usman, the queen of landlord makers. And I say to you, oh, double. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now officially come to the end of today's show. So I'm going to see you guys next week, Sunday, same time, 4 p.m. on the continuation of this real estate event that we attended. Like I said before, it's quite a lot and we need to upload everything for your information. This is going to help you a lot, especially if you're a real estate investor in the Nigeria real estate market. Thank you once again. Don't forget to please subscribe, like, and share this video with your contacts, and we will be glad that you do as you do so. That by the way, all right, ensure that you keep safe once again and you remain awesome just the way you are. Once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and yours. So I say to you, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and yours, as I'll see you next time on the show. So I say to you, what double?